being healthy is not just a habit change, but a heart change. Being healthy is not just a discipline to practice, but an act of worship. Growing up, I was in all different types of sports. I went on to play volleyball at the University of Oklahoma for 4 years. I got my bachelor's in health and exercise science, and I went on to get my doctorate in occupational therapy. All of that sounds like I have a good picture of health in my life that I'm practicing, and yet it wasn't until almost 5 years after I was done playing volleyball that I began to see health through God's design, that I began to see health as an act of worship. Romans 12:1-2 says this, I appeal to you therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. 1 Corinthians 6:20 says, you were bought with a price, so glorify God in your body. This isn't something that's said to be easy. It says that it's a sacrifice, and yet it's a sacrifice that is spiritual worship to the Lord. In America, we've begun to rely on westernized medicine to compensate for our lack of discipline in stewarding the bodies that the Lord has given us. Modern medicine is an absolute blessing, and it saves lives, and it supports our bodies in ways that sometimes we just can't. And yet it's become a crutch to our sin. There are many things that can limit us in our health journey. Understanding what makes things healthy and not healthy, having the knowledge to change the lifestyle that we're living, not having the finances to afford healthy foods that we want to put in our bodies, but we can't. And yet there's also sin that keeps us from living in a healthy way. There's idolatry and laziness and selfishness. We have to trust God in the areas of our lives that we can't control. When we know things that are better for us, but we can't feasibly do those things, we can trust that the Lord is caring for us and that there is grace in that. And yet sometimes we say we're trusting God as a way to ignore the continual sin that we're living in on our life. And yet we can't continually abuse God's grace. So I'm on this path of lifestyle change in order to pursue the life that God has designed for us to live. It's gaining knowledge and changing what I'm doing when I didn't know better. It's controlling the things that I can control and trusting that God is in control ultimately over all. It's repenting whenever I fall short again and receiving the grace of God in areas of my life where I need it daily. As Christians, we should strive to worship God with our health. Living a healthy lifestyle isn't about a habit change, it's about a heart change.